Alrighty, welcome back everyone. I am Blaze here. Today's video, I'd like to ask, what is your all opinion on boxing? I'd like to know. I'm going to give mine, but I'd also like to hear some feedback by what you guys think. Because the Aerodune and Rizlona time lock progression servers are supposed to be dropping, and the only main difference between them is really the boxing rules. One server being TrueBox, where you can only play one character from one computer, and the other server possibly being anywhere from 2 to 15, whatever it might be, whatever they want to set it. 2 to 15 players, all be run from one single computer. No definite details yet on that, but it'll remain to be seen. It's described as a boxing server. And I know I got a couple people who follow this channel who do. One guy who comments a lot, who has this three magician army who just absolutely shreds with his pets. I find that to be incredible. So what's my opinion? I think there's a reasonable stance somewhere towards the middle between the no boxing camp at all and the extreme boxers who, like I mentioned, this one guy in Velcators who goes anywhere from 13 to like 21, something like that. 21 characters. Yeah, that's questionable. I think there's a reasonable stance somewhere in the middle. So let's talk about it. So when I think about not boxing at all or boxing two characters, I've done it. Within the past month or so, I've had the opportunity to use this account my guild has where they have a bard on it, a guy who quit the game and he left the account for the guild to use. So I used it as an opportunity to level up my ranger. This bard account needed to be leveled up and my ranger needed to be leveled up, so it's like it's a match made in heaven. I get the haste from the bard and I get his pulling ability. I don't have to pull on the ranger and he'll help me get groups. It's very rare that people want to invite a sole ranger into a group. It was a really good opportunity, and what I noticed with dual boxing, or just boxing in general, is that it caused my ability to play to significantly decrease, or just how well I would play. If your attention's scattered across multiple characters, it's difficult to really play any one of them extremely well. I had to play that bard box on my main computer and relegate the ranger to a single button click where I assisted and then did auto fire. And there's definitely times where I wish I was a bit more active with him, with getting better positioning, doing dots, helping out when there was a charm break. I really wish I was capable of being more active with him, but the attention split was a bit too much. But I mean, I've also seen people who do 6-box crews that have a very good setup, a very good program setup where they can do it almost seamlessly. You'd think that it was 6 separate people playing all those characters, but that's more been the exception than the rule. So I can see the point of no boxing at all, especially too because it's taking out real people. You're cutting out the role of a real person in a group, potentially, and this is a social game, right? There was one guy who commented, what's the point of playing this game if you're not going to talk to anybody? What's the point of playing this game if you don't need to interact with anyone else? Because you got all bases covered by yourself. You know, that is a good point. That is absolutely a good point. But let's talk about the merits of 2-boxing and 3-boxing. Honestly, it's been the lifeblood of most of my groups, going from level 1 up to 65 on both Aeonic and Redorian. A lot of people don't like playing healers. I don't. And I know a lot of people who just play melee classes, and it's been difficult sometimes on, say, P99 or other servers where it's difficult to find someone who wants to do that just as their main character. It's very difficult to do so. And what boxing has done on Mangler, from what I've seen, is it's allowed people to play their main melee, but at the same time still have a healer and backup. It's made healers a lot more common, made clerics incredibly much more common. It's helped out tremendously. A lot of the people who 2-box, they typically do either, say, like a cleric or a druid and a tank as the primary, or an enchanter. And that's basically the backbone of every single group. You can get by with just those 2 classes. and it makes it very easy to build up a group around that. It's amazing. And you know that no matter who else leaves in your group, so long as those two people are there, so long as those two characters are there, you got it. You can keep going. You don't have to stop the group for anything. 2-boxing I am a very big fan of. And 3-boxing is also pretty helpful too. It starts to get a bit more difficult once you get past 2 characters, but I have been in 3-box groups where that person was doing a good job. After that, I feel it's where it gets kind of sketchy. It's very uncommon for people to do any 4 or 5. Basically, all I see is people who main a character, people who either 2 or 3-box, and people who do 6-box plus. That's really all I see. And the 6-boxing plus is where it gets kind of sketchy. It's been sort of a toss-up. I have seen 6-box crews who have been tremendously helpful to me, who have dropped a character so I could get in their group, and they were putting in all the work. And they come to a raid and they fill out a whole section of it. They help out a lot in that regard. But I've also seen my fair share of 6-boxers who chrono farm or power level farm. They sell power leveling services just to make some illegitimate real money transaction stuff in the background. And definitely anybody that's gone beyond 6-boxing, I've never seen someone do that legitimately. It was always some sort of a farming operation to make money. It was never to help people out or actually interact with other people. It was never about that. So at the end, I'm mostly a fan of people who either main a character and play nothing else, or do either a 2 to 3 box. That's what I've seen to be as the least manipulative, the most positive for the community. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.